Hey guys, it's your girl, the Cyn Show. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is another day, another dollar. I know you making it holla. Okay, next. So today, guys, is an episode of course, all tea, no shade. Get your tea, get your water, get your coffee. This is another one of those episodes. So I know this is going to be a series that I'm probably going to be doing for sure on this channel. The title that you guys saw in the thumbnail is It's Growing, Keep Going. Why a 9 to 5 won't keep you alive. Oof. Let me sip before I start. So I'm gonna let you give you, I'm gonna have no choice but to give you my story on why I believe this and why um, it is what it is. And, this is not for me to kind of put excuses out there about what I'm intending to do with the rest of my life. But this is definitely just a message for anyone who is going through the transitions. That's what that's what I'm calling it. The transitions of career transitions, life transitions, and also just kind of really making a full understanding of what you feel like you were meant to do here. So uh, I've always been a girl that has been into retail. I did a lot of retail in the beginning of my career, started working at 16 as a cashier for a space called White Rose. And I think that was kind of like a garden center kind of place. And then after that, obviously, I did go to college. But one thing about college was that I didn't really graduate all the way. I started off with a lot of interests, and the last interest I remember taking from high school was about anatomy and physiology. And I was really big into drama. Obviously, huge musician. I am a musician by heart, by feels like by trade. and and so trying to find my way in college as well was quite difficult. Growing up was also a bit difficult. And so, when you are also growing up and you're trying to find yourself in life and what are you guys going to do? And the whole thing at that time was, A, you're out of high school, you got to get right into college. There was no time for you to kind of think. Well, I did take a year. And still, even in that time, I was pursuing music. I still found ways to pursue music. I was pursuing modeling at that time. I was really trying to go after my dreams. That's what it felt like. And I was doing it and rebelling at the same time against my beautiful African mom, who was like, you need to become a doctor, a teacher, I was fighting y'all. Still, even at 43. And what I did regardless is I went into college, started off with biotechnology, didn't like the fact that I had to deal with the lab coat, walk around with that thing all the time, yada, yada. It's killing my fashion, okay? And so I then switched to business administration, from that into marketing. After that, I said, nah, I got to get out of here. I can't do this because also I was paying with OSAP. OSAP is like a government form of tuition here in Canada. Like you pay for it. In the end, it helps you to go to school. Okay. And so I always knew that there was a part of me that was always going to be creative, that still loved to, do business because my mom, although she didn't go to school for that, she is the negotiator. And I think all African moms, right? Indian moms, African moms, Chinese moms, craziest negotiators. Craziest negotiators. I said, damn, that's one thing I really wish I could have picked up a little bit more. But in the end, I pulled myself out of school because I really wanted to again focus on my art because that was what really pulled me the most. Music was something that I really, really gravitated to. Plus, as a songwriter, I started writing music at such a young age that I knew how to express myself through music. I knew how to at least do that, thankfully, because in household like our household or like in household that you might have had, number one, there's not a lot of privacy. Number two, you can't talk back. Feel me? And number three, to express yourself is quite hard when you've just got to be somebody in your family dynamics. You got to be the eldest, and the eldest really doesn't come with a lot of feelings. If you're an elder in your family, put it in the comments below if you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, what ended up happening is I continued on building a community, which I didn't realize over time through retail. And I found myself getting involved as a fashion stylist and a visual merchandiser for a large, at the time, a very large um, Canadian label retailer. And I remember doing a small internship with them, learning about the buying system and what it's like to be a fashion buyer, and work with vendors across seas. And it was really, really, really eye-opening. And I believe that in those moments, through those times, I was like, okay, maybe this is something that I could really get into. Now, knowing, I will admit that because I have this charisma about me, that was one thing that I was able to do and use to get me in the doors, right? To get me in that position, in that seat, and maybe still over time, because you got to be a people person to deal with people. Okay. But one thing that always held me back was that education, was that thing like, what is it that I really want to do? What is it that I'll be willing to go back to school for? You know, moving on. Um, as I got older and I found myself then in the corporate environment, working for a financial services space, that also opened up my eyes. I mean, right then and there, that was a time where Blackberries were really a big thing. Starbucks was really becoming super popular, and and you know, all the girls at the time were really rocking the Louis Vuitton 25 Speedy. Feel me? If you know, you know. Okay. And a girl, your girl, the Cyn Show, was like, how do I get in on now, like I said, over so many years, I'm doing retail. I was also a bartender, a cocktail waitress, a hostess. Oh man. But you notice it's all people. It's all people oriented. And it was always client facing. It was always front facing. And I was okay with that, you know, but there's also a part of me where you can only take so much. I am considered to be an introvert extrovert. After a while, I got to be inside. I got to be away, you know, to recharge, because being around a lot of people takes up a lot of energy. Truly, it does. We'll have another conversation about that. Um, so as I was saying, I'm in this financial space. I'm in there as an executive assistant for a certain department that really dealt with community relations and donations. And it was just such an eye-opening experience because, again, I did not know what was going on around me when it came down to what was happening within my community. Who were the community leaders in you know, in the Black Canadian diaspora? Where are we? And who are we? And what are we doing? So that was my first time really getting a chance to get to know who the communities are. And I think it was also piquing my interest in saying, because I'm so people oriented, this is a place that I got to be at. And the proof came when I was let go. And you know, I tell you this story right now with a lot of great understanding. Because I mean, obviously, when you're let go from a job and you're trying so hard to hold on to it, you're trying so hard to take advantage of all the perks that you know you can get to advance yourself, to personally develop yourself. But there's also a part of you that is just not really adhering to the rules. You feel me? You still have that other part of you that still needs to be um, given life to. So obviously, I was doing both at the same time, working my 9 to 5, but still giving into my craft of music. And yet it wasn't enough because I definitely remember my boss saying to me at that time, you know, you're not corporate, you're for the community. And I was like, I'm not community, pay baby, but like that at that time, I was like, what do you mean I'm not corporate? Like, I'm here, I'm showing up, I'm doing the work, I'm trying things out, I'm seeing the vision, but that was not really, let's say, maybe God's vision, the creator's vision. And I think it was also so clear from what my boss was seeing in me. He was like, girl, this is not you. This is not you. You've got to be out there. Like you are that girl. Y'all, I cried clearly because at that moment in my 30s when I had that role, there was a lot of growing up. And I think that's one thing about these positions, all the positions I had, if there was somebody else who had it, definitely it would be a different perspective. But a lot of these things really came with a lot of growth that was needed, at least for me at that time. And I was willing to open myself up. Change is not easy, right? But when you know it's going to happen with or without your ass, you do it. Feel me? So I went with it, and I obviously had to go with that as well. Took some time off, found another role as an EA for then an investments firm. It was more like a hedge fund company. And that was also kind of very short lived as well. And so when I was going through these up and downs, I'm going through these up and downs, and I'm like, yo, what is it about? Is it about me? Is it about the craft? Or maybe it's about something that I'm supposed to create for myself? That I said to myself, okay, Bet, let me just keep opening myself up to something. Oddly enough, while all this is happening, I had my YouTube channel and I wasn't putting too much into it, only because I wasn't sure what is it that I want to do with this. I opened up another one that was called Heal Thy Co. That is called Heal Thy Co. And I focused mainly on traumas, personal traumas. How do we deal with those? Because number one, it's happening all the time, right? But when it came down to also how it was affecting me, I realized, oh man, like that's something that we all have to find a time, give ourselves the grace and space to deal with, and to also know that when we're dealing with work as well, whether you've had traumas that happened to you before undealt with, you bring it into work, and it's just another thing on top of you getting fired, or on top of you getting written up for something, on top of you not showing up because of XYZ, on top of you not doing the networking, on top of you not, sick days, all your sick days, just gone. You're not using your vacation because you're showing up so much. Like it was just one thing after another, and we don't realize how much that's also adding on top of a trauma or traumas, or it's on more things, on more things. It's just long story shorter, guys. I don't want to rant, even though this is a rant. I said to myself, okay, I'm going to come back to this again. I'm going to come back to this platform again. And I gave myself a little bit of space and grace and space. In my last position, this is finally what got me into now community and community services, and really also dealing with our Black communities, Black organizations, foundations across Canada. Beautiful experience. If you guys are watching, hello. And I wish you guys all the best. I will always continue to wish you all the best. Um, that at that moment for me was that reality check. I think of what I felt like I was supposed to bring, at least to the role. I brought a lot of experience because of some of the things that I've learned. I'm talking about administrative experience, but I think just a lot of other experience of other things that I picked up along the way, tacit knowledge that I picked up along the way that you realize you can't replicate. It's what you know. And I too, at that time, like I said to you, I worked that position. It was amazing. Uh, Government funds were being given to these are government grants that were given to these Black communities. And it was all about building capacity. And that also opened up my eyes about what it's like to build capacity. What does it entail to build capacity? And, organizations can build capacity until their knees fall off. but there needs to be other sources of funding to kind of offset operational funding, to keep it going, to keep it sustainable. And that's something that I was like, okay, cool. All right, let me see what this is about. Oddly enough, it's also a position where I thought to myself, this is very much a project management role. And this is probably something I should consider to do as a career in that of project management. But guys, I got to keep it 1,000, keep it a whole buck with you, boo.
Mhm.
Here I am again on that. I think maybe I'm fearing it. Maybe I'm fearing it because of the failures it seems like I thought I was having in my life, that it may not work out. Maybe this is not the thing I'm supposed to do. Maybe this whole thing of project management will be oversaturated. I had gotten to a lot of things over time. Even I went to school for becoming a health and life coach, and all of a sudden, boom, everyone I was like, yeah. So, anyways, I said to myself, okay, maybe project management is a thing. Now I'm still sitting on it, and I shouldn't be sitting on it, but it's something that I am considering and yet not. And I just say this to say that I guess the thing about life, right? One thing I was saying in another video was to really pay attention to your life. There's just so many signs that will tell you that you're on the right track when you're in alignment with something. Sometimes it's really scary to like, okay, okay, it feels like people are falling off. You're still on alignment though. It feels like everything around you's falling down. You're still on alignment though, and and the gag is it's actually working for you. It just doesn't look good right now. So when I say it's growing, keep going, this is also to those of you guys who are in a place, in a position right now where you've pivoted. You made a realization, you did some self reflecting. You said to yourself, man, I've been through a lot, but I know a lot, and I'm doing something different that I really love. Like, it's on me time now. I'm taking me time. I'm doing it my way. I'm setting up my time, and I'm giving my time back in a way. I am fortunate right now to be in a position where I can do this, but I know it's not sustainable. And I do know that eventually I'm going to have to bring in some type of money, honey, because I mean, I'm working for Google in this case. This is YouTube. Feel me? This is not a real 9 to 5 yet. It would be amazing if it turned out to be, but nothing can be guaranteed and all channels can be demonetized, including mine. Feel me? But I think what I can definitely say about my path and what I'm paying attention to is that YouTube came again for me in a place where it's like, girl, you need to kind of get right back on this. You've got a lot of experience with being in front of a camera. You're not afraid to talk, speak your mind. You know things from what you do know. And, there are things that I'm willing to share. I'm willing to share that I definitely feel like you guys who are watching can benefit from, just kind of take from. And so I encourage anybody, if you guys are in this position, if it's growing, keep going. Don't just only depend on the 9 to 5. We're in a new place in time where this is another source of income. Um, Affiliate marketing is another source of income. The whole thing with the tech is just becoming that thing. And it's okay for us to find a way to adapt and adopt to other areas, other passive income streams right now. And so this is one thing that I'm going to be using now. I definitely know that it takes time to build, but we gave all of our time for others. We built them, and we haven't built us. You have to build you. I got to find time to build me. And yeah, it does feel like a little, I feel a little guilty doing it, but I feel even more guilty if I didn't. And I think that's something that you guys, and I thank you to my new 14 subscribers. Yo, legit, you guys are my shit. Legit. You guys are my shit. And I thank you. I'm not going to cry. Promise. But I want you to know I was sitting on 13 for a hot minute. I don't know what this channel is going to be. Swear. I've got lots of ideas, and ideas come to me all the time, but I don't know what will interest you guys. Feel me? So it's just for me to kind of put whatever I feel the need to put out and to feel the need to share. And if it rides, it rides. If it dies, it dies. Feel me? But yeah, you got to keep something else than just the 9 to 5. And I think you also got to know that when we have that 9 to 5, the 9 to 5 is always going to come with its own, I don't want to call them consequences, but like it's going to come with its own beast. And it's always going to be that same way. You're always going to deal with that one coworker who's this and that. And you're always going to probably be written up for something, especially when you're so freaking creative. You're going to have to find, and I'm definitely going to have to find something else that will give me that flexibility to still be able to not just do this, but to still pursue my music, you know? Um, so I think that's all I really want to say about this. This message is not for you to quit your 9 to 5 right now. Look at what you can do with that 9 to 5. How can you make that balance work for you where it's not stressing you out? Because the 9 to 5 is always taking us to cortisol country club, honey. I know they're giving good Mai Tais and mojitos, but baby, the inflammation, the stress. No, 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 no. Okay. All I'm saying is let's find a new way, and let's not be afraid also to probably come on this platform, especially if you are in your 30s, your 40s, well, mainly in your 40s, 50s, your 60s, your 70s. The gag is you are more wanted and needed than anything else. Our life experience for those who have been on this platform forever, the ones who are in their teens and their 20s, who watch us, who watch this, don't think that they don't want to know. Everybody wants to know, what's the tea, honey? What's the shade? What are we talking about? You know? To all of you guys who are in your 20s, really listen to what I'm saying, especially if you are that creative. Find other ways in that 9 to 5 if that's what you want to do. And if it's not what you want to do and you are fully creative, then find the other passive income stream that's going to give you that freedom and flexibility. Okay? Because like I said, as you guys get older, that stress is going to be waiting on your doorstep. It's always going to be waiting on your doorstep, even in your 20s. Ain't gonna lie. You guys got your own kind of stress. But the stress that comes when you start cat on the on the age thing, you'll see. You'll see. Find other ways to make it easier. And I think this is pretty much what I want to just say. Just let's try to find other ways in our lives to make it easier. Let's utilize all of this that's in front of us right now. Technology is the only real tangible thing that we can take advantage of and make millions if we really want to. But you got to be responsible. You know, just like I was saying with the AI video, the companies that create these AI products and services must maintain responsibility, social responsibility. But I also definitely believe more transparency along with tech literacy when it comes down to using these products wisely and these services wisely. So we don't get caught up, because we as humans, we tend to get caught up and become extremists at any time, you know, and that's not what we need. So that's all I have to say, guys. I know I was all over with this, but I just want to kind of put this out there. I don't know, you know, like I said, what's going to happen with this channel, but I will continue to keep on posting as much as I can and keep it up and keep showing up, because I think that's really what matters at this time. As much as you show up at your job, show up for yourself, show up for your passions, show up for your dreams, show up for your true goals. If you're in that place Give yourself the space, give yourself the grace. Feel me? Especially if it's something you've never done before, give yourself time. Not everything is expected. You got to know everything, because look, even at any job you get, don't they give you just a little bit of time for you to get to know what you're supposed to do? And then that's it. It's on you. It's on you. So that's all I'm saying. If it's growing, keep going. If you've started something and it's growing, keep going. And that's it. Guys, that's all I have to say. Enjoy this video. I will see you guys in another video. You guys know what to do. Peace.